This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
So here it comes with fantastic new prizes. It's television's most exciting game show hour. The fabulous 60 Minutes, The Price is Right. Come on down and meet, actually, you can come on down and you can meet the fabulous, the 22 Dropouts. Say hi, boys. Maybe I should just go, it's time to start the music. It's time to light the lights. It's the Muppet Show tonight. No, it is a 22 Dropouts. We hope you're all well. Everybody seems to be smiling, apart from Lawrence, who's going at his camera. Lawrence, mate, this is the one of the last times you're going to join us for a little while, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, until a month ends, because I'll be returning back to school for some few exams and some few stuff there. But after that, I'll be sure to join the 22.
Excellent. Now that is great. I mean, it's sad, but it is great news that you're managing to get back to uni, mate.
Well, really it is. It's fantastic news. Thank fuck for him. I mean, the guy never shuts up, does he? Do you know what I mean? Fuck
He'll be glad to get a word in edgeways without it.
I know. Best of luck, Lawrence. All the best, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's we must introduce our guest tonight. Now, our guest started his rugby career, as many of us do, at school. He went through those type of schools where you only played rugby and cricket because football was definitely not allowed. When he went to university, unfortunately, he went to York, which is sort of posh northern, and he ended up playing rugby league. So he's sort of there, but sort of isn't. And he carried on playing, pre-professional days. With a couple of clubs around the area, before he moved to the city, where he took on, and Lawrence has gone again. Internet in Kenya's ace. Oh no! As soon as you say that, he comes back.
It's better than Ireland.
It is much better than Ireland, Peter Bracken. But no, I guess tonight he worked in the city for over 30 years and spent an awful lot of that time doing some of the fundraising that ICAP PAC do over there. And, back in 2012, I don't know if many of you remember, the traders managed to raise just over £11 million in one day on a mass fundraiser. Lots of those going to sporting causes as well. And when he left the city, he went into combining his love of sport with his love of charity and fundraising. He is now the chairman for My Club Group and My Club Lotto. It's Mr. Stuart Canwell.
Hi, hello guys.
Hi, how you doing, mate?
By the sounds of things, you've had a little bit of information about my background, so I won't bother sort of going over that all over again. I've already wasted quite a lot of your time.
Well, it did take us 12 minutes to get you on the Zoom call, but
I know.
by the magic of TV, it was like that.
That's quick by my standards.
Now, one thing I didn't say is you actually used to coach the Watson brothers at London Irish.
I did indeed.
Tell us a bit about that.
The history to that was, having moved down south, I moved to Sunbury, which of course, it still is the base of London Irish, but on the amateur side. The pro side's moving to Brentford, as we all know, so big changes there. But going back to the old days on the avenue when it was proper football, if you like, I lived in Sunbury. And I had a lad who then was sort of 3 or 4 years of age. He didn't know what to do with himself. And I decided to take him along to London Irish, and we never left. I mean, basically, Max joined at about 6, and I saw him and that age group right the way through to the 16s, when we won basically everything that was put before us. Fair or unfairly, but I mean, nonetheless, we got the results that we wanted. So I had a wonderful 10 years seeing everybody grow through it. And the Watson brothers, I think, came in when they were around about 10 or that sort of age, just before we did the Dublin under 12, which of course was the first tour. They're great. And their dad, Duncan, I mean, passionate about rugby as well. It's no great surprise to me that they've done so well. And in actual fact, I was in touch with Anthony Watson only a week ago, and he's at Bath now. I was trying to get a shirt out of him or a signed ball or some kind of memorabilia that I can flog and get a bit of money for. And he's promised me that he will. And I said, preferably, I'd like a clean shirt, not a dirty one. But anyway, we'll wait and see what turns up. They were so talented. I mean, Marcus was like a greyhound. It was easy to see from a fairly early age that they were going to be, the players that they were. And unlike a lot of the other guys, my son included, who discovered drink and girls at 16, they seem to have managed to sort of give that a bit of a swerve and went on through the academy and so on and so forth. So yeah, they were glorious years. We had a lot of fun and some great memories.
Now, you say your son found drink and girls. Is he still involved in the game?
Not now, sadly.
Well, he'll make a perfect referee then. He's got two things going for him. He's not involved in the game, and he loves drinking.
Those are the credentials, as far as I'm concerned. Actually, would make a good referee. You're absolutely right, Mike.
Now, we introduced you as the chairman of the My Club group and My Lotto. Tell us a bit more about what My Club is.
Okay, well, having left the city finally some years ago, I didn't get thrown out. I left on my own accord, by the way. But having a passion for sport and a background in finance, I'd known Neil Richards, who's the MD and founder of what is now My Club Group. It's morphed into that through a different number of stages, but nonetheless, I was aware of what he was trying to do. It was started off with an interest in betting, My Club Betting, as it was known, and that became very, very toxic, as it is now. And that's really when I got involved and said, look, I don't think this is going to go very far if you're talking to rugby union or sports in general. But I mean, at the end of the day, gambling or betting or whatever you call it is inextricable from sport as far as I can see. And you've only got to look at where all the money is coming from. It might have stopped now temporarily, but it's very, very difficult to divorce the two. But in terms of what we're doing now, what I really liked about it was the idea that the emphasis was on putting money into grassroots sports clubs. And it doesn't matter, it's any sport that we cover. We've got a dozen ambassadors also now, led by Sam Allardyce. I've got Chris Sheesby, who I've known for many, many years from London Irish days, who some reckon was probably the best number 8 that we had and was unrecognised as such, but nonetheless, he's a great guy, does a lot of work for me. And recently we took on John Salako. So the idea is that we get a lot of people that have done well in their relative sports that are now wanting to give back to those sports. And all I'm doing really is facilitating that, to be perfectly honest with you, and trying to get money together on the platform that we put together. The idea is that clubs come on board. It's free to sign. They will get savings on the products that they buy in My Club Market. They'll make money out of the lotto. It's of a £5 ticket. They get a third of that. And it's a split lotto. It's 50-50. So anything over and above the costs that cover the actual draw, and at the moment that's 5,000, is split by the clubs that participate. So what I want to do, I want to see it go national, because it's not having a national lottery. At the end of the day, that's a commercial entity. We're not nearly as commercial as that. I wish that we were, but we're heading in the right direction. But the aim basically is to put money into grassroots sports, enable clubs to survive, if not flourish. And at a time like this, it's desperately needed. So if ever there were a time for My Club to step up to the mark, then this is the time. But of course, we can't do it on our own. We've got to have support. We've got to have the clubs sign up to us. We've got to have them engage with us. But it really is reciprocity. So we're not looking to take money out like the big betting companies do. They're doing it for their own interests. We're not doing it that way around. We genuinely care about sports.
So you talk about grassroots sport, and there was an awful lot of stuff in there. Let's put the lotto to one side for now, because I actually think that's something that we should talk about separately. How does the My Club group work? Where can people join? And how many clubs have you got signed up at the moment?
Well, let's start off with the fact that you start off with a database, which of course there are 150,000 or so sports clubs. So that's a huge number. And we're chiseling away at that. We've got a database of about 60 to 70,000. In terms of club signings, as I said earlier, it's free to sign. All they've got to do is go into myclubgroup.co.uk. It's a simple process. There's an app there, they'll sign up to it, and basically all we need is the club colours, the club logo, and they're ready to go. And in terms of what we offer, there's a market platform there that will take them into a variety of different things that are, if you like, directed towards club usage. Kit is one of them. Got My Club Kit with Bill Newton, who used to be with Cougar. He's doing a fantastic job. The Lotto is one that you just mentioned, the large LED screens that we're getting a great take up on because clubs are desperate. And the thing about the big screens is they're as applicable to small clubs as they are to the big clubs. It's just down to the location. But we know they can make a lot of money. We've done case studies. So it's a matter of getting the message across in terms of what we offer, what the clubs can get back. Out of every purchase that they make out of on the market platform, they get between 10 and 20% of what we get back, and they make savings as well. So it really is a very collective kind of thing. It's a collegiate thing. And one of the things that I find tough, to be honest with you, Mike, is so many clubs, understandably, I guess, at this particular point in time, but they're looking after themselves and they're not thinking about the game as a whole. What I'd like to see is a much bigger picture from all the grassroots clubs, particularly those that are not cash strapped. I'd like to see them put more into helping the clubs that are cash strapped and facing, they might disappear before our very eyes, which I think would be sad, because with that goes the community as well. So in terms of, you asked me the number of clubs, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but we're into the thousands that have signed up, and some are more active than others. I think the recent crowdfunding that we're doing will draw an awful lot more clubs into it. And what I'm trying to do is reach out to the club officials, the guys that make the decisions for their members, to get the members involved, to get the club involved, and basically everybody's a winner. And that is as simple as that. This is a win-win.
Okay, so that's all well and good in the UK. What about, I mean, Sam's over in Malta. He runs the referee society over there, head of the referees as well. Can they get involved over there?
They can do, but I mean, it's very, very difficult for them to get involved with the Lotto for obvious reasons. Because you've got to purchase tickets. I mean, going back to the, well, we haven't gone back to the Lotto, not really covered it, but I mean, if I can deal with that now.
Sure,
the beauty of the Lotto is the nature of the license that we've got from the Gambling Commission, which allows us to go up to 25,000 a time now. So if we get enough take up on it, we could do that weekly. At the moment, we're doing a monthly. We've had a series of monthly draws of 5,000. There are some very happy people, some very happy clubs, but we want to get that bigger and bigger and bigger. And we can do that. We know we can do it. In terms of activity outside the UK, it's important to understand that under the license, the money that we put into it has got to go to either grassroots clubs themselves or registered charities or foundations. So it can't go anywhere else. That's why really it's not, is it commercial? That's not really the core of it. The core of it is genuinely to get money into grassroots sports, charities, foundations. And if we can engage with them, that's better. In terms of offshore, we're about to list My Club Europe, which is an arm of My Club Group. And of course, that will dwarf what we're doing in the UK, hopefully. We've already got tentacles out there. We know what we're doing. The model that we have is highly portable. There's no reason why we can't roll it out in Europe. And we're already making preparations to roll it out in the US as well. So we've got big ideas. It's going very, very well. And I'm hopeful that we'll see what we're doing here rolled out on a much bigger scale, much grander scale, into Australasia, Asia, Africa. There's really no holding us back in terms of the traction and growth.
Excellent. Well, look, we'll pick this up and we'll talk a little bit more about rugby when we come back, just after this very short break. We'll see you in a minute.
When you need clear and concise match official communication systems, look no further than the brand new AXIWE AT350.
Radios are always useful, they always help us, especially AXIWEs, where all three of us can be open at any time and we can have open communication.
Available now from refcomsglobal.net. Investing profits into match official development worldwide.
Whatever. Same thing.
Well, as you've joined us back in the second part of the 22 Dropouts, you can hear we're all having fun in the background talking about space hoppers and what they might do with Sam. So there's another episode, and you can join us next week where we talk about how Sam rides a space hopper around Malta.
I'd love to see it.
You're not the only one. There are hundreds of thousands of people in TV land that would like to see Sam ride a space hopper around Valletta Harbour. That would be amazing.
There's probably millions that don't want to.
Oh, there's many more millions.
You've got me thinking. We could have an ambassador space hopper race.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. I want to see me bouncing in Malta on a bloody space hopper.
What we need to do. I think what we need to do.
I thought you were sitting on one. You're moving around so much.
But I'm hiding the person that keeps bombing my bloody video.
You're right at the side of the screen.
Yeah.
Now, what would be great is if we get the person who keeps bombing Sam and on others, and next time we'll all start a race on a space hopper on Zoom. Do it when he finally goes through the 12-minute process of logging on, can tell us when to go, and he can judge the race. And you can race through Malta, Lawrence will race through Nairobi, Phil will be up and down the strip, and I'll just roll down my garden because it's so steep. I'll win.
If you're looking for a story, a genuine story about somebody on a space hopper, I can disclose to you the fact that years and years ago we went on a skiing holiday and my wife entered the Miss Ski Bunny contest. And basically you had to drink.
Are you sure she's going to be happy with this?
You had to drink at the same time as go around the room on a space hopper, and she won. And she wore the sash on the slopes for 3 days running. Miss Ski Bunny.
Now I've got to change the subject. Lawrence
that's actually a very good drinking contest.
It is actually, yeah, I like that. But Lawrence has changed his big car, and now Lawrence has got a big
car.
Lawrence,
Lawrence,
you've got
all the equipment there. Are we waiting to switch over? What's going on?
No. We know we're carrying on. There we go. There's Lawrence.
What's that?
It's a cat.
No, it's not his big cock, that's for sure.
Hiya.
That's a nicely trimmed pussy.
What's the name of the pussy? What's the pussy's name?
We're going to get banned.
It's a cat.
I apologise, okay?
You started it. You bloody started it.
I know. Anyway, listen, we must talk some rugby. It's supposed to be a rugby show. Now, as we are referees and it's hosted by referees, I think the first thing we should talk about is JP Doyle's got a new job. If you remember, JP Doyle was made redundant by the RFU from the professional match officials team. Great news is, even though I wasn't certain it was going to go ahead, the World 10 series is supposed to be definitely happening. Personally, I didn't think it would, but hey, that's really good news, and congratulations to those guys for actually getting it off the ground. So he's off to do the Bermuda 10s as part of the World 10 series soon, but he has also gone back to his first job, which was teaching, and he's now at Clare's Court School in Maidenhead teaching PE and rugby. So well done to JP, and I hope that all works out well for you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, that's enough being nice to people. Now, has anybody else seen the headlines that came out yesterday? Now, I know we're in a massive pandemic and we're in a huge financial turmoil, but already 2 of the Premiership clubs are going to furlough their staff until the start of the new season, except those that aren't involved with the Six Nations. But this includes the players. So Gloucester and Leicester Tigers have both announced that they are going to furlough their players again up till the end of October, which is when the furlough scheme runs out.
Yeah.
To me, okay. I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, aren't you? And they're taking advantage of the
till the end of October.
Yeah, so our furlough scheme finishes at the end of this month. So literally for the next 3 weeks, they are putting them on the furlough scheme.
And how much do they get?
I think you get 80% of the salary.
80%, isn't it?
So it means that the clubs can completely zero their way. No, it doesn't know, because they've got to put the other 20 in.
They're going to put the 20 in. Yeah. But it's also capped, Mike, as well.
Yes, it is. It is. But effectively, they are just only doing 20% of their wage bill.
I'm sure Piers Morgan's had a go about that then.
Piers Morgan has a go about anything.
On Good Morning TV.
Piers Morgan will have a go at himself for doing his shoelaces up. Or wearing slip-ons.
Oh, do you remember when it was during the main part of the first lockdown or something? Which football club was it that said they furloughing their staff? And he went absolutely off his nut about it.
Yeah, what you're thinking is, mate, that we actually give a shit and watch Piers at all.
I try very hard not to watch him at all.
Yes,
I tell you
absolutely.
what, I do. I watch him because he's genuinely down to earth and just says what he needs to say, and that's what's good. That's good reporting. He's not hiding any bullshit. He causes a storm, and that's what it's about.
Do you think that's all he's doing? He's literally just doing it to get a reaction.
No, I mean, I actually think he is doing it for a reaction, and that's why they've got the highest figures ever. But I also think that the BBC is full of shite, and it's all fucking, basically all fucking, we'll tell you what you want us, you don't want to hear, and everything, and we'll just give you this and give you that, and we'll fucking edit everything so you don't fucking know anything.
So what that means is BBC 3 is no longer going to air our show. So hello ITV, we love Piers Morgan and we love his show. Can you please show us?
Well, I just want to know how.
Anyway, listen, enough about him.
Was that, did they have PhD? Did they have PhD?
You can't mention that. There's too many woke people in the world, and Meghan Markle won't like it.
There's too many woke people?
Woke.
What's woke?
Woke.
What's woke? What's woke?
They're the people who think that you've got to be really careful about what you say, because in case you upset anybody, and everybody is going to be upset by what you say, so you can't say it.
Mike, they're not watching the show if you're going to be upset about anything that's being said. So
is woke the new word for snowflake?
Yes.
Ah, right. Fucking. Hey, Mel, do you know what woke is? How do you spell it?
It's not woke, it's just woke.
W-O-K.
Hi!
Do you know what woke is?
It's what the kids use nowadays, like lit.
Well, apparently it's the new word for snowflake.
No, it's not.
It means, right, I've just checked it. According to the dictionary, it is alert to injustice in society, especially racism.
And you told me you'd know your English words as well. Banish to the bedroom. Go on you go.
And he gets a slap. live on national TV. And Stuart's internet, if you haven't noticed, Stuart's internet has gone off and he's trying to rejoin us, and I'm sure he will at some point.
Is he in Ireland?
No, he's not in Ireland. It's just he's a bit shit trying to use his computer.
He's probably 5 minutes down the road from where fucking Mike lives.
Well,
I'm just pitching all his broadband, mate.
Just invited him over.
Have you read Joe Marler's autobiography yet?
No, because that's what I want for my Christmas. Joe Marler's and fucking Haskell's, but nobody fucking going to go and buy me, are they?
I'll buy you one.
Oh, stocking fillers are us. Good man.
If you want a stocking filler, you can
I
have a
also
Satsuma
want
like I
one.
used to get.
I'll tell you what.
You want
I'd
one
like
as well?
to-
Yeah, but
I'd like to
Lawrence,
get I'm going to get Will Carlin's book as well.
Lawrence, if I sent you a book, somebody would nick it in transit, like they did with your mask.
And then you'd have to be fucking taxed on it as well.
Yeah, and then they want, and if not, they want £265 just to import a whistle.
I'll actually
There's no
pay
corruption in
£5
Kenya, is there?
this time. You can never stop it.
No, that is true. That is true. Stuart's really lost the will to live with his computer, and I think he's just thrown it through his patio windows. He's just messaged me. Anyway, Joe Marler's book. So, Stuart, really lovely to have you on, and one day we will teach you how to use Zoom properly, and you can come back on because there are going to be so many stories about your time playing rugby back then that we want to hear them. So we will hear from Stuart again. Now, Joe Marler's book. I'll give you a little sneak preview, not too much. I don't want to spoil your Christmas presents, boys, but 5 people that you don't want or who are mentioned in the book that perhaps shouldn't read the book. Who do you reckon they're going to be? 5 rugby players.
The guy that he squeezed is Alan Jones.
He didn't squeeze, it was a tickle. It was an inappropriate tickle amongst friends.
Nah. 5
I'm sure you did that to me one night. I'm sure you crept in my room when you were staying here. I felt an inappropriate tickle in my sleep. It definitely wasn't the wife, so it must have been you.
I can't believe you're saying that kind of thing. Phil was like,
my wife would go nowhere near me. So
Phil's okay. Listen. This is how bad that comment was. Phil's actually gobsmacked with that, and he's from fucking Vegas.
I'm shocked. I thought this was a family-friendly show.
Phil, when on earth did you think that?
When I signed my contract.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I'll give you a clue.
By the way, Sam.
First one is Joe Launchbury.
Sam, did you renew your guest appearance contract for the show?
I never get. I'm one of the mainstays. I set this fucker up with Mikey. So
yeah, he's a founder member. Anyway, I do know, Phil, in your contract, it does say that by this time in the show, you should have already shown a can of Diet Coke.
Yeah, I'm under
Coke. Diet Coke.
Sorry, Diet Pepsi. I did that last week.
You are fucking useless. You're absolutely useless.
I know, but I'm still here.
Oh, God. No wonder we can't get a sponsor. Next thing, instead of the Genius beer, they'll be saying, buy a can of Skull, boys.
You'll have to dub that in, Mike, because I don't have a Diet Pepsi on me today.
That's okay. Here is our Diet Pepsi advert.
Right, because I drank it earlier and I threw the can away in another garbage can.
In the recycling box, of course.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sure
so
it was, yeah.
There are 5 people that perhaps shouldn't read Joe Marler's book. One is Joe Launchbury.
Launchbury. Haskell.
Yeah.
Haskell.
No. So I'll give you a reason why, and there are different reasons why for each one. So Joe Launchbury has been reputed to have the biggest backside in rugby. Now, I know Bill Beaumont, and he's definitely got the biggest backside in rugby. But in terms of people who play, Joe Launchbury has a huge backside and has a penchant for knocking shit over with his arse when he's on tour. So Joe Marler, said his arse was like a slosh bucket.
Have you read it, Mike?
I may have done. Anyway, right. So I'm not going to give the game away anymore.
No, but have you read his new book?
Gavin Henson. And why on earth would I be plugging it if I haven't?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Right
have you read it?
So here's another few. Gavin Henson has a bit of a mention in there that's perhaps not terribly nice. Ollie Conn, Johnny May, and Dwayne Peel all get a mention. Now, that made me think...
No Scots guy. Jesus.
Yeah. That made me think, if you were writing your autobiography, who's the guy that you would call out or make a big mention of, and why? And I'm going to come to Phil first, because I know he loves questions like this.
Is it going to be about rugby, or is it going to be just about my life?
I'd like to keep it about rugby, but it's up to you.
I actually wouldn't call anybody up. I'm not that kind of a person. But
with a nickname.
Huh?
With a nickname or something funny they've done.
You mean like dickhead?
Yeah, well, I know that's me.
Yeah, I just don't think things like that. I could think of a lot of people who've done things with irrational thinking and lack of common sense, but I don't know.
That's every rugby player in history.
Yeah, fair enough.
Are you being a bit woke about this here, Phil?
Well, woke?
Yeah, we've discussed woke already.
Woke.
I just don't
Sounds like something you're cooking.
Because once I call somebody out, I'll just like move on to the next thing because I'm done with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't call somebody out unless it was me, because I have done so many stupid things and embarrassing things on tour. Not that tour, Sam, when I was playing, mate, when I was playing. But I would say, actually, I would give a special mention if it was my autobiography, because I was actually quite important, which I'm obviously not. I would make a special mention to a guy I played rugby with called Martin Gertie. Everybody at Marler Rugby Club will know Gertie, and he moved over to Australia, I think. He was a builder, absolutely stunning bloke, really, really, really good to get on with. I remember a particular game that we were playing Windsor, and they were blooding a young 70-year-old in the front row. Well, I'm at the bottom of a ruck, and all of a sudden, some little shit takes a chunk out of my arm with his mouth. Got teeth marks and blood on my arm. And there's a guy, this little fat tubby shit, if you're out there, son, clamped on my arm with his gob. So I get up and try to swing at him. He's run, hasn't he? Even their captain said, "Sir, I can't defend it. You can see the teeth marks." I mean, this poor guy, he's about 17 years old and 28 stone with the biggest jelly belly you've seen. Get off your sofa, do some exercise, boy. And
by a stairmaster, you pudgy bastard.
Yeah. And he says, I didn't see it. I can't do anything. I turned around to our lads and went, "Don't worry. Next time he's mine." He got the ball. He's running. I'm going, "Move. He's mine." I'm chasing him up because he was on a bit of a hill. And Gertie was stood like this in the middle of the pitch. And this lad is running with the ball. He's now thrown the ball away and still running. And it got to the point, he's looking behind, he's not looking where he's going, and he runs straight into Gertie like that and just hits the deck. And Gertie stands over him and went, "Don't you fucking do that again." So shout out to my mate, Martin Gert, for having my back and completely poleaxing the guy who bit me.
Clearly did it because you were never going to catch him, just like you can't catch fuck all now. You're still bloody slow, honestly. You're that fast, Mike. You couldn't catch a fucking goal.
So per Sam's suggestion, I'm going to second that comment on the fact is you're recognizing Gertie because he caught the guy because he stood still and you couldn't catch him.
Yeah, about right. Mate, it was uphill. It was uphill. Come on.
Was he not going uphill too?
He was stood still.
He had the wind at his back and you didn't. Got it.
So what happens is he must have gone up like that and then dropped down. He was on the down bit and I was still going on the up bit. That's it. That's it.
Yes, that's so full of shite.
You lot are such bastards as well. So Sam, who would you put in your autobiography?
There's a couple of guys, that you meet throughout the rugby world as you go through, your career and as a player and as a referee and that. And I'd rather not mention any names right now in case I can miss some people out. But there is a few people that would definitely get a mention, and quite close to the heart that way because without them I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now and being able to do it quite well. Well, allegedly quite well. So, Phil hasn't seen
no
the
special
yet, so
story in your autobiography then?
No, there would be, mate. But I don't think it's fair to.
Oh, you're saving it for your autobiography, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, because I don't think it'd be. I don't think it's fair to mention names right now.
Sam is already pushing sales and he hasn't lifted a pen.
Yeah, no,
so
I mean there is some people that you would definitely thank throughout your way, wouldn't you? Because at the end of the day, it's camaraderie, friendship, a bond, family, and and that's what we love about
so
our game,
much
isn't it?
bullshit now. He really can't think of anybody or any stories that he's allowed to say in public.
There's
He's shying away from what he can say in public now.
I can give you the countries that they're in. How's that?
Mate, I know some of the antics, and I know some of the things because you keep messaging me about some of our guests. So you must have some serious stories. But we respect the fact that you are going to be a wanker and keep it to yourself until your book comes out. Lawrence, because it's many, many years until your book comes out, what would you say in your autobiography, and who would you mention and why?
Let me first begin by questioning you. How much can you do on a yo-yo?
How much can I do on a yo-yo? Jesus, I don't think I've played with a yo-yo since I was playing with girls' pigtails.
Oh, do you remember the yo-yos that had the Coca-Cola and the Fanta and the Sprite and
No,
7-Up and stuff?
no, you can't say
Pepsi.
Coca-Cola.
Pepsi.
But yes, I do.
I said Pepsi as well, didn't I?
Because they were a massive craze in
Yeah.
the early 90s? Late 80s, early 90s?
And you used to do the spider and the fucking fling and boot and smack you back in the heat and all that, aye.
Yeah. But
I
don't forget.
could never do that one though, because the fucked up hand just gets me.
Don't forget, while we were playing with yo-yos like that,
It's called the cradle, eh?
Lawrence's dad was... Sam, how does it go again, mate? Now,
nearly as good as Chandler from Friends.
Up to this stage, I think Phil is the only sober guy whom I can talk to.
That sounds like all sorts of wrong.
He's right, though. He is right. So go on. Yes, we do remember yo-yos, and I know that Sam interrupted you badly there, but we do remember yo-yos.
Yeah, of course, as Sam has said, throughout my life now, as growing as a person and also in the rugby sector, number of key guys I've met, some who have pushed me to this level that I am, probably many, but on that special mention, it has to be my music teacher in primary school.
Oh, right. Okay. Do you actually play any musical instruments, mate? I thought you were going to mention me then. No, do you actually play any instruments?
He plays the violin the same as everybody else does for you, Mikey.
So, Lawrence, you've disappeared there. So we're going to keep the little bit about the violin in. But I just asked, do you play any instruments? So we're just going to wait for your internet to catch up and you just carry on.
Well, Phil's already mentioned the violin to you already. He just did it really vaguely.
You can't see what's going on because I've just changed this. Do it again, boys. Go on. Have your moment in the sun. I don't know, but Phil looks like he should be in the Adams Family when he does that.
I thought you should be fucking like Jimi Hendrix there. Did you see the hand cradled up there? Eh?
Listen, stop pinching Lawrence's big moment.
Phil, oh, Chris, listen. Shall we call Phil Scaramanga or Festa?
Scaramanga.
Scaramanga, yeah. Lawrence,
Festa.
come on. Don't let... Shut up! It's Lawrence's time. Lawrence, before we go to break...
All right, I was saying that I can never sing before any crowd.
Can't sing in front of any crowd.
But do you play a musical instrument, or was it just singing in primary school?
I cannot, because my music teacher told me that it's better just shut up because my voice is terrible.
Hey, Lawrence,
come here and have a hug. Come and have some loving, Lawrence. Come on. Come have some loving, Lawrence.
Lawrence, can you whistle a tune?
Yeah. I cannot.
Sam, can you whistle?
That's just as well, because you can't bloody sing apparently.
Lawrence, I want you to prove your teacher wrong now.
Yeah.
Sing.
I want you to sing after. I want you to go. Ba-ba-da-ba. Just that. That's all I want you to do. Wait for it. Lawrence,
you better kill me, Mike. You better kill me, but I'm not going to sing.
I want you. All it is ba-ba-da-ba. That's all I want you to do.
I can't.
If you go ba-ba-da-ba, we'll all go, and you'll be an international artist then. No, that's our bit.
You keep listening to the Addams Family.
Ba-ba-da-bum. Ba-ba-da-bum.
He's still
Anyway.
doing this.
Right, I think we need to go for a short break. We'll be back right after this.
So the Active Sport 250 has been amazing during lockdown when I've been dancing. It's meant that I can come to the park and put my headphones in and just listen to my music without disturbing anyone else. They're the only headset that I've found so far that don't fall off. They stay on and they're not uncomfortable on your ears because they just rest outside your ears instead of actually going in.
Do you know what? It's like herding bloody cats in this place tonight. I would say welcome back to part 3, but what you can't see is all these buggers in the background doing all funny sorts of things and trying to put me off. And sometimes it works. So anyway, welcome back to part 3 of the 22 Dropouts. Don't forget that we need to follow us on our social media. If any of these wankers actually ever put anything on social media, it'd be ace. So you can check out and let me know whether they're doing it on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Just go and search for @22 Dropouts. It's at the top of your screen. Just have a look. Phil?
Kudos, by the way, on the new design on the Dropouts 22 thing, by the way. Works really well.
Did you like that with the frame?
Aye, no, well done, much better. Aye.
Thanks,
well done.
mate.
Can you do one for poppies?
I could do one with anything you like. So tell us, we're not far off poppy season, are we?
No, it's actually going to be starting here in another week, probably. In the Commonwealth, outside of the United States, we generally have this whole thing where you don't see any politician or any government official or anybody who's in the service not wearing one of these in respect of what date? November 11th, 1918. That's what that's. It's morphed obviously into something else that beyond that we're all of our veterans and remembrance. But in the United States, it's called Veterans Day, and it's the same.
Yeah.
So with all respect, make sure you get out there and you support your legions, your Canadian Legion, your Legion, and your American Legions.
The other part of this is obviously everybody make sure you wear your puppy and you go and buy a puppy, because a lot of people, what they do now is they buy the pins and they just wear the pin every year, so they don't end up then going buying another puppy for the following year, sort of thing, because it's got a year or whatever, but they don't. So we need to encourage people to still go and buy a puppy.
Yeah, and the enamel pins are lovely. Don't get me wrong, and they don't get tattered.
Yeah, they're commemorative. They're commemorative, aren't they?
Yeah, but do go and buy another one this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll cost you how do we say it, Phil? It costs you £1.
Quid, yes. To be fair, these while the puppy in itself is beautiful, the flimsy pin on the back is not so good. So in camp in the springtime, when the snow is melting and you got dog shit all over the place, you end up finding a bunch of these.
Well, you gotta be really careful there, Phil, as well. You might actually prick your third nipple as well. Do you know what I mean?
Scaramanga!
You'll notice over my shoulder. I always have one displayed. Always.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Respect.
Always.
It is that time of year, which I don't like to distract at all in any way, shape, or form from Remembrance Sunday or from Veterans Day, as you call it in the States. In fact, everybody knows that I will be out on parade and in my uniform again on those days. But there is something else that goes on around the same time. Now, I can't partake because, well, I could actually this year, because we're allowed to wear beards now. Why I'd want to. Have you ever seen me in the beard? I look shit. So does Sam, but it doesn't put him off either. Now, you tell me a little bit more about why you're going to grow a shit beard in a few weeks' time.
Well, it's not really about growing a shit beard. It's about coming up with a design that that you come up with, and then you just keep it and you just shave everywhere else off, and you just keep tweaking and just keeps shaping it and stuff like that. So by the end of Movember, you have the absolute corker of a move, and basically then your girlfriend or your wife doesn't want to kiss you anymore because you look like shit.
He's never had the mother of all moves. I can promise you that.
Oh, mate, last year...
And I tell you what, I wouldn't want to kiss him either, whether he's clean-shaven or not.
Well, you know what state I was in last year when we were in Dubai 2 years ago. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it, mate.
Full-on trucker.
In fact, do you know what? I'm going to dig out a photo. I'm sure that we must have a photo of your really shit move from there. And we'll put it up now so you can have a look and you can see just how shit he looks. Now, that's a really good time for us to... hi, Sam. Sam with
just
his
looking
forehead.
in on you.
And dear viewer, now you know, and I use the singular, of course, because I know there's only one of you, and that's Lawrence. You know what it's like.
Lawrence, what do you look like close up to the camera?
Lawrence, yeah, come on, come closer. Come closer.
There you go. His body does move.
Yeah, but it moves in jerky motions.
You know you're looking away from the camera, right, Lawrence?
It's this side. It's this side, your phone. Can you imagine anybody now joining in and seeing you three sticking your eyes right into the camera?
Okay, that was a bit too close. Lawrence. We don't need to see the freaking purple-headed ones, mate.
Anyway. We've got an important point to raise here because Sam, you've talked about Movember and the great work that they do. Well, there's a brand new thing within the rugby community that's launched with the Rugby Foundation, and that's the Ruck U Cancer program. Phil, just tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so it's something that I've been actually working on for a little while. And the whole idea behind the Ruck U Cancer component is pretty simple. We want to raise awareness and prevention across the globe in the rugby community and supporting our rugby family. We all know that Alex Corbacero has recently been diagnosed with testicular cancer. And, he's one of our ambassadors, and we want to show some kind of a level of support for that. But it actually caused us to move up our plan to launch, and we launched it about 10 days ago. So you can find out information on our website, therugbyfoundation.org, and then of course on social media with the Rugby Foundation and like Facebook. But what's more important is right now it's about raising awareness, building a platform where people can actually learn about prevention techniques and recognition techniques in a variety of different languages. And our objective is to have this run 12 months a year. And we're going to highlight specific cancer that each month. And with pretty obvious that skin cancer is probably one of the biggest things that we would want to try to highlight probably more regularly because of us being us in the sun, not necessarily the people in the UK.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
All the time, such as us in Vegas or here in the US and around the world, is that there is a skin prevention component. And we're going to do things, raise awareness from the young people when they start picking up the ball or picking up the whistle to do what they can, whether it's longer sleeves or sun protection lotions, things like that, and helping them just become more aware that it is a risk.
No, absolutely. I think that's a really good thing. And we'll be joining with some of the other guys. And as you know, we featured the Walk Against Cancer when they did their trip from Twickenham to Portsmouth a few weeks ago. And we'll also be helping out other guys, other clubs and their efforts and charities. And that's not just in the USA and not just in the UK either. This is worldwide. And if any of you know of any particular programs, wherever you may be in the world, that brings rugby and fighting cancer together, please let us know. Go and join us on the website at therugbyfoundation.org. Just send us a message through our Facebook page if you want. We'll get in touch with you and we'll come and talk to you and share the platform with you with what you're trying to do in your country as well.
So Mike, on that point, we've already had several people probably in the past week. We've only been operating about 10 or 12 days, but we've already had several people in the rugby community wanting to share their stories. Where they're involved in rugby, but they've come down with diagnosed with specific cancers and how they beat it or whatever treatments they went through.
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to leave tonight's show on. Let's leave it on a very poignant, a very important note, and let's see what we can all do together as a huge global rugby family to fight this terrible disease, to fight this thing that affects so many of us in so many different ways, not just those with it, but their families and friends that surround them as well. So from me, from my guys tonight, and from Stuart, who's probably still trying to join the next meeting on Zoom, it's good night, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Night.
Night.